Hello, my name is Melissa. I have been a to-be mom for almost 6 years, and I'm going to talk to you today about Patchwork Peddler gtube pads. You may be new to tube feeding, you may just be new to cloth pads and just have some questions about how you use them, what their purpose is, and it can get a little overwhelming when you hit the internet, start Googling all the choices that are out there, and hopefully in your life as a to-be family, a little bit of information about these pads will make your life a little easier. So let's go over the pads and see where we are. Let's get started. All right, this is Emily's tummy. She has a GJ button, and you may have a regular G button, or some children have two buttons, a separate G and J. So let's talk about the use of pads with a button. First, we'll go over a gauze pad. This is a split gauze. You may be familiar with this. Most of the time, hospitals will put these under a freshly put in tube to catch the gunk and the crusties and some bleeding that may happen freshly after surgery. And they work just like this. The hospital may have sent you home with some. And basically, their job is to catch the gunk. The problem with gauze, though, is while it absorbs, it has its limits, and it gets wet, it gets crusty around the edges, and that holds to the moisture. And having that moisture on the skin and those crusties against the skin all the time gets irritating. And plus, it's open. So what happens is, it gets loose and it gets fallen off, and then you lose it down in your clothes, and it's not doing its job if it's not on the button. So you find yourself taping it closed, and then the tape irritates the skin, and if you've got a kiddo with an extra leaky or extra crusty button and you have to change it often, that's that many more times that you have to pull tape off the skin, and it really just becomes a huge pain all around. So cloth G2 pads are designed to take the place of the gauze pads. This is a Patchwork Peddler 3-inch pad. This is the thick, and the thick means that it has an extra layer of material. She also has a thinner version available, and if your kiddo has a new button and that's still pretty sore, or you have a tighter button that's more snug like that and have a hard time getting the thicker pads under, the thinner ones will be great for you. You'll still have the same softness and it'll still function the same. You'll just have a little easier time getting it on. So here's the back. This is the part that actually touches the skin, and this is bamboo velour. It's a natural material. It's antimicrobial, hypoallergenic, breathes, and it is super, super absorbent and super, super soft. So you put it on just like you would the gauze. The split goes around the button, the soft side against the skin, and you slide it around and give it a snap. And then there you go. You have the pad on. And your child will wear this as long as is needed, until it gets too gunky or wet if you have a leaky button. And you'll change it basically as often as is comfortable for you, or as your child needs, in terms of absorbency and all of that. So when you're ready to change it, you just unbutton and pull it off. And you want to take your time, because you're going to find that there's going to be some crusties and some gunk stuck to the tube, to the pad. And that's what you're going to want to look for. That tells you it's doing its job. All of that junk could be around the button irritating skin, but it's touching the pad instead and stuck on the pad. So you've got a dirty pad and you're out on the go. What do you do with it? Well, Patchwork Peddler makes wet bags. A wet bag is this little pouch that's lined with a waterproof material. Take your gunky wet pad, put it in there, close it up, drop it in your carry bag, and you don't have to worry about anything getting transferred onto anything you're carrying around. You don't have to worry about losing them down in your bag. And that'll help you carry around dirties. It holds several pads per pouch. If you're at home, A mesh laundry bag like this one is fabulous. I hang one in my laundry room, put my dirty pads in there. When I'm ready to wash, I just zip it closed and it'll go in your regular wash. I usually wash mine with towels. That is typically the load that I don't use fabric softener or anything in, and fabric softener will affect the absorbency, and these are going to stay plenty soft without fabric softener, so you don't have to worry about that. So, why do you want to use cloth gtube pads? It's particularly Patchwork Peddlers versus some of the other ones that are available out there. What I have found with experience with trying other makers is that some of the pads have synthetic materials around the back, such as fleece or which is something called suede cloth, which is a different kind of polyester, or they have some of that dry max material that's kind of I don't know, like athletic material. And synthetics and moisture, at least for my child, was a bad combination. There are also manufacturers that have Velcro closures, so if you can imagine the edges of some of the Velcro rubbing into the belly, that wouldn't be very comfortable. And another thing that was particularly important for me in a pad is, do you see this stitch? This is called serging. And this stitch in the center area here, where the split that goes around the stoma, makes it very stiff, and then you have threads irritating. And you need that flexibility and that softness. And those threads on a stoma just add to irritation. But as you can see, Patchwork Peddler has the velour around the edging, and that is it. There's no irritating seam, only softness. And another thing that I found with them is durability. This pad is one of their plain ones, first one they ever made. I've been using this for almost a year, and it's been washed many, many, many times. And as you can see, it's just as round and ready to go as the brand new one, which this one has only been used one time. And you can still see the softness. A lot of other brands that we've used get wrinkled up, and they end up being folded up coming out of the dryer, and it just makes it very difficult to have to smooth them out and put it on and lay flat while they're in use. And they seem thinner. They just don't seem to hold up as well. They get peely on the backside. These have done great, and you just cannot go wrong with the quality. Plus, she guarantees her work. Stitching, snaps, lifetime guarantee. So, why use something at all? So the reason that I use something is because of this. See how great her stoma looks? It's like a piercing. No irritation, no gunk, no granulation tissue. It looks great and healthy, and all of her doctors brag on how good it looks. And the main reason for that is Patchwork Peddler's gtube pads. Everything else we've tried, we still got irritation, we still got granulation tissue, and that includes gauze pads, that includes other brands, and that includes just leaving it alone. So this stoma is exactly why we use Patchwork Peddler's gtube pads. Log on to her website, check it out, ask for a free sample. You won't be disappointed.